Welcome back to the Reality Report, your home for independent news, unspoiled from corporate influence. We are now joined by Christina Tobin, who is the 12-year veteran ballot access expert, and she's going to be talking about freeandequal.org, and she was also going to be sharing an exclusive announcement with you. Welcome to the show, Christina.
Well, thanks for having me, Gary.
You know, you're a ballot access expert, and I know from my own experience following around candidates and learning about ballot access that for third-party candidates it can be quite difficult. So you're an expert. Tell me what you know. Tell me about Free and Equal, how it got started, a little bit of the history behind it.
Well, the history is I've been involved in ballot access for over 12 years. In '98, my father ran for governor in Illinois. He was wrongfully knocked off the ballot, and he sued the State Board of Elections directly, went all the way to the Supreme Court. Unfortunately, he lost, but that was kind of the first taste I got of how difficult it was to get on the ballot for third parties and independents. And then in 2002, I successfully got him on the ballot. He ran for lieutenant governor and for Libertarian Party. And then in 2004, the Ralph Nader campaign hired me in Illinois to get him on the ballot, and first encountered directly with the Democratic state chair, who used full-time employees from his office and successfully knocking Ralph Nader off the ballot. And so I decided to sue him personally, and I lost, but made a point. What he did was wrong. The taxpayers, it's wrong to have use taxpayers' dollars to keep choice off the ballot. And then in '06, I was brought on board to help Green Party candidate Rich Whitney to get on the ballot for governor of Illinois. Was successful in doing that. It was the most challenging job I've ever had. And they are now established for the first time here in Illinois, established party. And in 2008, I was brought on board working with the Ralph Nader campaign as the National Ballot Access Coordinator. I collected over 500,000 signatures working with the campaign and coordinated the drives in 45 states plus D.C., and successfully getting him on the ballot in all those states.
I ran into you, I believe. It was in Springfield. You had this huge stack of signatures for the Ralph Nader campaign. I was really impressed to see what the work you had done there. It was just amazing. I mean, literally, a stack, like just. We got footage. Maybe we can roll it while we're talking here. But so this has led you to really fight for ballot access, and now you have the Free and Equal organization, which is actually two parts. There's a foundation and a corporation. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the Free and Equal Elections Foundation focuses primarily on attacking the court system, that is, for ballot access reform at both the state and local levels. We'll be introducing a state-by-state lobbying and ballot access guide early next year. We're working full-time with world-renowned ballot access expert Richard Winger of Ballot Access News. That's ballotAccess.org with a hyphen in between. And very lucky to have him on the board of directors. He's my inspiration. And we'll be doing that amongst many other things, coordinating more debates. The Free and Equal Election Foundation coordinated a presidential debate last year at the Mayflower out in D.C., and it was on C-SPAN nationwide. A #1 archived video of the political season for C-SPAN. Lots of people out there want to see it. And then we also coordinated a vice presidential candidate out in Las Vegas, Nevada, of which we had independent candidates, Matt Gonzalez, Darrell Castle, the Constitution Party, and of course Wayne Allen Root, the Libertarian Party. So it was a very interesting thing to do, and we'll be doing a lot more things on top of that. Election reform conferences, fundraising for organizations, and we can speak a little bit more about that, but such as OBAR, Oklahomans for Ballot Access Reform. That's pretty much, in a nutshell, the component of what the foundation is about. And we also have a separate entity that is called Free and Equal, Inc., and that's our petitioning company that petitions for candidates. For example, right now, we're petitioning for the state coordinator for the Libertarian Party out in New York, running on both a Democratic and Libertarian Party line, both drives. Wow. And we're also coordinating in New York for Reverend Billy, Green Party candidate, running for mayor of New York City. So we are very, very diverse.
So you really are crossing a lot of the different party lines. I mean, obviously, there's libertarian ideals, there's Green Party ideals, there's even Republican, Democrat ideals. Bottom line is, I mean, we're all Americans here. We all want our voice to be heard, and the ballot is, that's how we can either run, we can vote. Now, this is really a nonpartisan organization.
Actually, right? Gary, it's an all-partisan organization.
All partisan. Mm-hmm. Now, that's a little different than you hear on like different news. This is nonpartisan. You said all partisan. I like how that sounds.
Yeah, it's we truly reach across the political spectrum. I mean, we recently got Rosanna Polito running in the 5th Congressional District here in Illinois, Rahm Emanuel's seat. And she was only candidate of, I believe, 12 Republicans that ran that was challenged. Why? Because she's technically an independent. She decided not to run as an independent because the signature threshold was 1,800 signatures, I believe 15 to 1,800 within a 15-day threshold versus only 300 if you run as a Republican or Democrat.
But did you say she had to collect 1,800 signatures?
If she were to run as an independent, yes, it's significantly more.
And what seat was this for?
5th Congressional, Rahm Emanuel's seat here in Illinois. So she decided to run as a Republican, though she is independently minded of the system. She was the only candidate that was challenged. She walked on, knocked on her door, and we were happy to take her case and defend her signatures, and we successfully got her on the ballot, and she won the primary.
Well, I recall now when I was working with Alan Stevo, I was following him on the campaign trail for the 10th district. He had to collect like I think he actually collected 6,000 signatures for the 10th district. It was contested. Do you know about the 10th district? Because we're in the 10th district now. There's going to be a big congressional race coming up. I mean, I've already looked at the playing field. I mean, everyone's throwing their hat in the ring. Mm-hmm. We've got Mayor of Buffalo Grove. We've got just a whole plethora of people. Who are they look like career politicians personally. We're just trying to climb the rung into Congress. But do you know what the requirements are for the 10th district? Because 1,800 seems low for 5th. Mm-hmm. But I just recall that there was such a huge number that Alan had to get. It was like thousands and thousands.
Well, 1,500 seems low, but remember it was a special election. So you literally had 2 weeks to do it. Alan Stevens, I don't have the numbers offhand, but you can go on ballotaccess.org with a hyphen in between to get all of that. But to transition into a more, I guess you could say, statewide issue in Illinois, which would affect candidates like Alan Stevo in the future, or others running in the 10th Congressional, is called HB, House Bill 723.
Now, you were just at a press conference. You held a press conference regarding this. Now, we were talking, this is actually going to... Well, I'll let you explain it. Go ahead.
Well, like to quote it, I actually got the quote from the Green Party state coordinator here in Illinois and the national co-chair, Phil Huckleberry, calls HB 723, that is, Protect the Incumbents Act. Well, the reason why is directly targeted towards the Green Party. When they were discussing this bill in downstate Springfield, Terry Link, who is actually the sponsor of this bill, expressed openly that, yes, this was an attack towards the Green Party. He didn't even hide it right there. You can look up the documents. We can pull that up for you. But in any case, what it does is any candidates that don't have anybody running in the primary, literally, they have to start all over again. They have to collect a significant amount of signatures to run somebody in the general election. And to be brief, a very great quote from Richard Winger is, already Illinois voters have a shocking absence of candidates to vote for. In the November 2008 election, out of 157 state legislative races, there was no contest between a Democrat and a Republican in 86 of those races. In other words, over half. And HB 723 will just make the lack of choice even worse. So, yes, we held a press conference today asking Governor Quinn to veto this horrendous bill.
Any word back from the governor's office?
Oh, no, nothing. We submitted a letter on June 1st. I have it right here, basically saying, Governor Quinn, you've championed yourself as a reformer. Let's step up to the plate. Do this for the people. You're a reformer. This is a horrendous bill. A bill that was, of course, as I said, sponsored by Terry Link, which is a buddy of Michael Madigan. So this is his chance to step away from, I would say, the culprits of the Michael Madigan, Lisa Madigan, Mayor Daley team, Cullerton, John Cullerton's link to Terry Link. So, I mean, this is his chance. We're asking him to veto, and I could only say that I hope he does.
Do something for the people as opposed to your cronies and your pal politicians.
Well, Michael Madigan stabbed him in the back already. He'll do it again. So now it's time to just be for the people. Quinn, you're better than that, and I trust that you will take this letter into serious consideration.
Now, you're all over the country. You were talking about you're going to be in Oklahoma, New York. You even mentioned California. A special thing going to be happening in California. We'll get to that in a minute. Now, Oklahoma. Tell me about HB 1072. Is it?
Yes.
Okay. You're working to get this. Well, tell me what you're doing with it.
It's a fantastic bill introduced by Representative Keyes, and it is a bill, HB 1072, that would reduce the signature requirement significantly by at least 30,000 signatures in Oklahoma. Now, Oklahoma has some of the most restrictive ballot access laws in the United States. You can't even be a write-in candidate there. So I'm going down there, coordinating with Free and Equal is organizing an event down there, which I will be a speaker there along with presidential candidate, Constitution Party, Chuck Baldwin, 2008, and also Senator Randy Brogdon, who is, let's just say, I hope he runs for governor, because that's a man that does stand up for the people and sets a great example. And unfortunately, I can't say that for too many people. So we'll be down there holding that event, and all funds that will be fundraised from that event will be given to Free and Equal, of which in return we will cut a check and write for OBAR, that is, Oklahomans for Ballot Access Reform. Those funds will be used to help them continue lobbying in January. The bill's been postponed rather than, has been postponed until January, and we want the funding in order to make sure that it can be lobbied at full force with Free and Equal and many other organizations and parties backing it up.
Now, I do want to get to your action in California, but ballot access is so important because, as I said earlier, this is where the people can really express their power through voting or through running for office. And I'm a huge advocate for, if they're not doing their job, we need to take their job. And running for office is going to accomplish that, but they've put so many limitations on, independents or third parties from getting that access, that people have to, run as either like a Republican in name only or a Democrat in name only, just so they can get on there. What are your thoughts about people that actually, they may not be that Republican or they may not be the Democrat, but they kind of bite the bullet and run in that party just so they can have their voice be heard?
Well, I'm all in favor of that. What I do think is missing, the missing component, is having an online network that basically these third-party candidates, independent Republicans, independent Democrats, like I like to call the non-incumbents, and third parties, independents across the spectrum, a portal where they can all plug in that they are actually running for office. People need to see. We can't trust the actual everyday media to go out there and say, oh, your everyday person's running, because they're not taking money from the taxpayers, as we all know how that all works. So Free and Equal is planning on upgrading its website next year by March, significantly upgrading it to make it easy for people to click on each congressional district to see who's running with online profiles. Each candidate can submit a little blurb, and eventually having debates that would be coordinated nationwide.
That's wonderful.
So that's that. People need something to lean on, and there's a lot of Republicans right now that are thinking, gosh, I'd like to run independent, but the thresholds are so high. Well, when we minimize and eventually get rid of those thresholds, it'll be a much more feasible.
Well, it's good to see you're having a lot of success, so far. I mean, the organization, I believe you said, was founded in 2004, but you're really, you're hitting the ground running here. But what does the future hold for an America that is completely dominated by a two-party political system? I've got nothing against, the two-party system other than the fact that it only gives you two choices. We have to have more choices. Because there are so many more voices. Now, what does the future hold if we just keep letting the two-party system dominate and let them exclude. I mean, they are actively excluding candidates from running. What does the future look like?
Well, in clarity, yes, Free and Equal was founded in 2004, but it wasn't until February of this year that I decided to sell my business and previous business that I had and decide to work full-time for Free and Equal elections for the rest of my life. As far as what the future holds, if there aren't organizations like Free and Equal, Paul Jacobs' organization of Citizens in Charge, .org, I believe, not .com, Citizens in Charge, is a great organization for pushing great initiatives through for opening for transparency or things like that. Other groups like fairvote.org, Rob Ritchie, the executive director, has proven to be of utmost integrity, and Free and Equal looks forward to working with them a lot out in California in the future, also Citizens in Charge. I think when organizations like that build the bridge and actually cross and meet, that's going to give, Free and Equal can't do it alone. I know that. It's the board that's got to run it, not myself, not the ED, but the board that we're building and handpicking specifically. That's a great board thus far. So with organizations like that uniting, it does actually build a, I guess you could say, a portal through the website. Other organizations that specialize in election fraud, IRV, all that kind of stuff synced into one site that can actually, I guess you could say, rattle up the system.
Now, speaking of rattling up the system, what's going on in California? Maybe you could enlighten our viewers as to something you have in mind.
Yes, and I'm deeply considering running for California Secretary of State. Richard Winger, once again of Ballot Access News, the ballot access expert, my role model, is coming out of his shell and has agreed to possibly run, be my campaign manager for that run out in California. The platform would be based around justice for independence. There's a lot of other dynamics of what Richard has entailed for this campaign that will ultimately, I guess you could say, would even rattle up the system amongst all the third parties and independents, independent Republicans and Democrats, that is, across the political spectrum, to really focus on this race. So I'm considering it, and I'm actually moving out. I've signed my lease. I'm moving out to Marin County. It's beautiful there, and I'll be just north of San Francisco and just close enough to Sacramento. And I'll still be a flight away from Chicago. So.
Well, it's great to see that you're not only working for the ballot access, but you're really putting your money where your mouth is and going to run an election, because that's the beauty of America, because we have to take action. If we don't take action, we're going to lose this country. And you're stepping up to the plate. You've got this wonderful organization. You've got, the initiative to support all these other organizations, get these bills, and then run for Secretary of State. Your plate's pretty full. So we really wish you the best. And maybe you could let us know where's your website? What's the address? How can people get a hold of you? How can they get involved with freeandequal.org?
Sure. Well, I'm involved, such as we've gotten recent support. If you click on our supporters page, you'll see Ron Paul there, a really nice quote supporting our efforts for Free and Equal. Ralph Nader, that's as different, as diverse as it gets. freeandequal.org, it's freeandequal.org. You can go on there, there's a little Take Action tab, but most importantly, get on the email updates. Everybody that's come on, I don't think we've had anybody unsubscribe to date. It's very, a step ahead, gives you insight of what we're doing, and we're a 501c4. We are doers and shakers. We aren't a think tank. So we're out there, and we've tripled in size in the last month. We'll probably be 10 times in size next month, no exaggeration, and I look forward to working and spreading the word through people like yourself, Gary.
All right, well, Christina, thank you for joining us on the Reality Report. Any last words for the viewers before we go?
For the viewers is get active, get ready to run for office, and get ready to plug in all your information in a portal called freeandequal.org come early next year. We'll be working with a great company that will be updating that, and we look forward to creating and building online templates, that is, through our website at freeandequal.org in the future to make it easier for you to run a campaign on your own.
wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Well, once again, thank you for joining us on this edition of the Reality Report.
Thank you, Gary.
All right,
Appreciate it.
Christina Tobin, freeandequal.org. Excellent website, excellent organization. Check it out. I can't speak highly enough of it. Ballot access is essential to restoring this republic, so get involved there. Now, we're going to shift gears a little bit and go into our